Well, I want to come and make another video reference to what my mother went through in 2024. She suffered a stroke, and I used to tell her all the time, like she would talk to me and tell me about certain friends, and she was right. She used to say, before I get off into the other part, I'm gonna tell you what she used to tell me. And I feel like I didn't take heed to a lot of it back then, but me looking at her condition right now that she's in, she had suffered a stroke in 2024. She had one, this is in 2005, but it didn't get her down like this. It just left her with a limp. You know what I mean? She still was able to walk, talk, and do all that, take care of business, and do every single thing that you can think of under the sun. She was smart. She was very wise when it came to, she knew how to sing. She could sing. She can, that's all she did. She would play a gospel on a daily basis all the time, every day. You know what I'm saying? She was very, that she's very rooted and grounded in it. You know, she had strong mind. No matter where you came and tried to tell her something, it was, she had a mindset, you wasn't gonna change it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She and her mother right now, that, which is my grandmother, she still is going to this day. That woman is my grandmother, which is my mother, my my mother, her, which is her mother. Her mother is still living to this day. She June the 4th, she made 101 year old. Yeah. And she's still living to this day, and she's still going, still strong, still talk strong and everything. She never been a diabetic. She never was had suffered high blood pressure. No, none of that type of stuff. No, she did. She is still. I mean, she ain't got nothing. The only thing that she had in the past was seizures, or something like that. Things of that nature. Other than that, she good, and she, you don't hear about. I don't. She don't even have that too seizures too much, but she's still strong and she know everybody. She ain't forgot. She don't forget, and she will tell you you got to stay in the. Is you still in the church? You know how it is. You know, although I'm not into Christianity like that. You know, Christianity is the slave master white man's religion. But anyway, she would tell you that now. But my mother, she would tell me this. She said, "Son, uh, I'm not telling you don't act funny with nobody." She would always, cause my mother was a very down to earth person. She raised all five of her children, and she raised her grandkids. She was just good all the way around. She was there for everybody. She helped everybody. She did all of these things for everybody. It wasn't nothing in the world she wouldn't do for them if they was really down, and they really, if she had it like that and it was on her, if she had it, you had it. That's the type of person she was, and she is, and she's a very God fearing individual. She believed in God. Oh my goodness, yeah. She loved singing gospel. She loved it, going to like different gospel concerts and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? She loved it that. You know what I'm saying? But the stroke had got her down to where she couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? But she would tell me all the time. She said, "Son, you gonna have to learn how to stop being naive and know how to carry yourself and know how to act when it comes to certain people, because it's gonna be time." Because I lived with my mother all my life. I didn't leave. All my brothers and sisters left and got on their own at a certain age, but I was, for some reason, I don't know why, and I just stayed. I don't know what it was, but I ended up staying, and I would question the Most High about that. Why, why this happened like this? It just don't feel normal, for me or whatever, as a grown man to still be at home, and all these. I had all these thoughts. I didn't understand. Maybe it was for a reason. You see what I'm saying? Maybe it was meant because he knew that this was gonna come up. That's what I'm thinking. So my mother would tell me, she said, "Now you gotta know how to carry yourself and know how to act, because it's gonna come a time, you're gonna be on your own. You got to learn how, if you don't learn how to think for yourself, it ain't nobody else gonna think for you." She said, "I may not even be around. You know what I'm saying? She said, I can be gone. I can be, you're going to have to stand on your own one day. And you're going to have to know how to act, and you're going to have to know how to have a good and bright attitude and stuff toward people, because you got to learn how to know how to act, boy, son. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on the whole. She would tell me, I was like, well, why are you telling? Like, she telling me all the time this and that. And she said, just be nice to the people. Don't just ill treat them or nothing, because you might, you know what I mean? She would just instill the wisdom in me and stuff like that, and tell me, she said, look, I want you to remember what I told you, and I want you to hyper this word down, or mark my word. She said, I can be dead and gone, or I can be down where I can't do nothing for myself. It's going, and I'm like, why is she saying that? Like, she putting it like this, and like, don't say that, like, you know. She said, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just preparing you. You just don't know what would go down, or you don't know what this is. And I'm like, and she said, I understood the part where she said, you got to learn how to think for yourself, and you got to do all these things. But it's just like, she would tell me certain things about people. She said, son, look, I'm not telling you to don't be nice to them. Just continue to be nice to them. I'm not telling you no, treat them no ways funny. Just act just like, just speak to them and keep going, just like that. You ain't got to sit there and hold a conversation with them. Just speak to them and keep going. I said, Mom, I'm just not, I can't be, I don't feel comfortable just pretending, like, or faking or whatever and all that type of stuff. She said, no, I'm not telling you to do that, but just know how to carry yourself. That way you can get yourself through this life and all that type of stuff. She's, I can be, and I see to this day, when she got down, because I would be telling her all the time, Mama, because she would always encourage me, son, come and say something to your family. To your people. Come say something to your friends or family members or something. And I'd be like, man, Mama, I don't want to talk to these people. Why are you putting me in these conversations? And and I'm here and all that. I don't want them people to know that's how I was doing. But I knew that my mother was a good, genuine person. I tried to respect that to a degree. I didn't want to talk to him, and that sometimes I would go like, okay, well, Mom, I really didn't want to talk to him, but I kind of did it for my mother. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that they didn't mean my mother no good, to be honest with you. You see what I'm saying? And I didn't feel comfortable conversing with somebody like that. If you got down the day or tomorrow, they'll stick you in a damn nursing home, and that shit pissed me off. And I don't feel comfortable interacting with somebody like that. I just don't. And my mother would tell me, yeah, son, we know how they is and stuff like that, but we got to know how to act and carry ourselves and not act like them. We already know that they ain't all the enemy or the devil, whatever you want to call them. But you don't want to show them you can do better. She would always try to instill that in me, but it's just another part of me was just saying, I can't get past this, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm not trying to disrespect what you're saying, but I'm gonna tell y'all how I was saying that motherfucker don't mean you no good. Hitting you up, calling your goddamn phone, and all that old kind of shit. I don't want to be talking to all the people. Sometimes I was like, I don't want them to know I'm here. They don't need to know what they asking about me for. If you got down the day or tomorrow, I think my brother used to say that. He said, no, let me just say it like this here. I know I would say, if you got down the day or tomorrow, they wouldn't even bring you a bottle of water. I said, Mom, them people, I just got a bad vibe from the people. I just don't feel comfortable talking to them. Sometimes she said, well, okay, son. I said, well, I ain't going to say that. Sometimes I'll wait till she get off the phone before I start talking to her. I got something to tell her. I said, no, I'll wait till you get off the phone. Just go ahead and do what you're going to do. And I'll hold what I got to say, and I'll talk to you and hold it until you get off the phone. Yep. And come to find out, I found out, it's just like you just find out more about them. When my mother got down and had that, like, you got in this condition, it made me understand and know and realize that you don't really have no friends. I came to the conclusion, my mother's experience, which I got at home, I don't believe in putting my people in no nursing home. That's just not my culture. It's not my belief of doing that. I know people do it, but I don't. But I found out more that you don't really have no friends. Since she got like that, it taught me a lot. You ain't got no friends when you think you do. All right, I'm out. I'll be back with another.